Now we'll start with our panel discussion. So I would like to tell all our delegates to be prepared with the question. Keep your question short so that it will be easy to answer and understand. Yes. So just give us 5 minutes. I would like to call our presenters on the stage, please. Thank you. So first, I would like to start with Mr. Sumit Kumar Haldar. So my question is, will AI become a competitive advantage for power utilities, or will it eventually become a necessity for everyone?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the question. AI will definitely become a competitive advantage for power utilities. But the second point which you said is also true. It will eventually become a necessity for everyone. And the reasons are pretty clear, because AI is expanding its course, becoming very, very powerful. It has almost assimilated the knowledge, which is knowledge base, which is existing across countries, across the globe. Further, it is capturing human experience, and specific to the power industry, if you ask me, it is then again a decision to what extent you accept it, because there are security and other concerns. So I'll keep it short. Yes, it has got the potential definitely to disrupt everything. As morning we were hearing that say the likes of Google's, Anthropic, they are into getting into areas like medical and other things, which are actually if you consider they're outside their domain. If you just consider domain, but then AI, as I always say, has become a GPT, that is general purpose technology, the way electricity and other things were always. So yes, it has its own impact. Thank you.
Thank you. So my next question will be for Mr. Jayant. So how much data cleansing can AI actually automate versus manual engineering hours?
Yeah, so as I mentioned during my talk as well, the data is key, and the way we are kind of trying to leverage the AI itself is to look at how can we clean the data itself in the first place. So there are some initiatives that we are kind of trying to take internally on looking at making sure the data is centralized first, second is of good quality, and we are actually leveraging AI to do that for us. So there are some, as I mentioned, initiatives, but we are also looking at external market as well on the from the community to understand, okay, what are the suggestions that they might have as well for the larger scheme of things.
Okay. So moving on, my question is for Mr. Sumit. So what are the biggest barriers to AI adoption in power generation versus when you compare technology, data, people, or culture?
Thank you, ma'am. The biggest amongst the barriers are, first, I believe, the requirement of know-how and knowledge actually with regard to AI. I remember in the last conference also, ARC had was very vocal and had emphasized on this singular aspect greatly, because forget misunderstanding. AI is very in my generation, in my sector, which is more so with core technicalities. AI is not understood well. That is one thing. So unless and until we understand, we ourselves make our hands dirty, gain some kind of experience of, or a first-hand experience of AI. It is very difficult to to tell whether it will work, whether it will not work, what kind of pitfalls, what kind of hidden dangers it is bringing with it. So know-how and knowledge with regard to AI is very important. Secondly, this governance, and I would also say governance, responsible AI, explainability, no black box models, they are very critical. Another thing is sovereignty. So in February, when we had the AI India AI Impact Summit, sovereignty is such a critical aspect of AI, and not just AI model development, but with regard to the whole infrastructure and whole ecosystem development. See, if you ask me, 70 or 75% of AI development in all its aspects take place in US. So US is the leader, is then in the leaderboard. Say if you would like to score from 100, they will get say 70 75 points. Next comes China. But what happens in China, there are issues with regard to technology associated with niche technology associated with GPUs, TPUs, and so on and so forth, NPUs. So what they have done, they try to compensate that by trying to miniaturize AI. They would love to compact implementation or development of AI models, etc., into as small or as less hardware compatible, say the best of the model performance without going to trillions of models. They would love to get it in a few billions, and that kind of a thing that China deals with. And then third is India, world over. So what are we good at? We are good at using AI. We are the best at at making the maximum and most optimal use of AI wherever and wheresoever it gets developed. But then from that aspect, that mindset, the moment we make a shift and we try to venture into the other two aspects which are eluding us, I think the adoption will increase faster in our country, and it will be more safe for that matter.
Okay. So my next question will be for Mr. Jayant. So how do you convince leadership to invest long-term data quality and shared semantics rather than short-term software fixes?
Yeah, I think that's key, where it actually is a part of the culture of ExxonMobil itself, where we compete to win is one of our key expectations, along with promoting innovation. And both of them tie together into these strategic decisions that we try to make on the data centralization activities or the improvement activities, along with balancing it out with the short-term investment on capability development and the AI hype or the AI-driven initiatives that we see. So it's a balance that we try to make. And as I think in today morning's session, we see that it was also mentioned that yes, we need to be using AI, but we have to right size it and at the same time find a way to build the AI in a more responsible way. So that would be the key.
So we'll open the floor for delegates. So please.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. I am Krishna Biswas and I came from Reliance Industries Limited, Jamnagar Manufacturing Division. So my question is to Jain sir that you talked about AI augmented HAZOP. So as I said, I came from JMD division. So this is the largest manufacturing division known as. So there we have different plants like crude, coker, FCC. There are a lot of plants. And regarding HAZOP, we used to do it for SOPs, we used to do for MOCs, we used to do for equipments. Like, according to you, how you started this AI augmented HAZOP? Like, what was your expectation that AI will do regarding the HAZOP identification or something like that?
Yeah. On the AI augmented HAZOP, so as we currently know, the HAZOP is a lot of the manual exercise that we need to do where we consider the probability and also the risk, and we have to look into all of those elements and also kind of conduct that across the different network and gather feedback and then centralize it to come up with that robust number of sorts. Can we use AI to enable some of that reasoning is the key principle that we are trying to look at. What that brings in is the efficiency of doing these conversations and having these conversations and using and having them centralized and kind of condensed into a more robust finding. That's one. And second is it also brings in that standardization that you could potentially see. And that could act as the effectiveness play that we see. So Again, we've started off with minor small cases that we're trying to look at, but we are kind of looking at the external market for collaborators to understand, okay, what is out there, if they can collaborate with us to develop things as we go.
So, sir, can we say that after we input all the data to AI regarding the HAZOP, it will give us the 100% accurate like identification that will help us to efficiently run our plant or something like that?
I would not say that, yes, it would not be able to give 100%. No, because we understand the limitations of the current state of AI. It's not completely foolproof. So we cannot expect that it will be 100% there. But we are still using GPT and copilots and stuff with the limitation that it already has. So that's where we have to see the right size of the problem needs to be defined, of how we narrow the scope of the AI for AI augmented house.
Okay. So, sir, you are looking for the decision or you are looking for the suggestions?
Suggestions, collaborations, and see how what's there in the market, and so that we can learn and then can collaborate going forward.
Okay. Thank you so much.
My question is again to you only. I'm Mr. P.N. Parekh. I am a SIS expert. Again, it is related with the HAZOP. There are HAZOP standards, updated standards recently also. Do they permit to use AI for HAZOP purpose?
Yeah, this is a question that I might not have a lot of the technical expertise on the HAZOP space.
Because HAZOP is very, very important.
Exactly.
And CC is above that. Okay. So, secondly, you have shown in your slide that it improves efficiency and effectiveness. Has it been ever measured as a case study? So and what are the results of that, if at all?
Yeah, the philosophy there is the learnings that we are seeing with other use cases, and we are trying to translate some of those learnings into the HAZOP space. It's not that we've done it and then we're trying to establish that. That's not the case. But what we've seen is how AI being used in the other areas and how it's helping the cause there, and how the HAZOPs could be the next phase where...
My only submission is that HAZOP is very, very specific and unique to the scenarios in process. And if the process is just newly developed, there may not be any data available to you.
That's true.
So in those scenarios, AI will not be able to of any use actually in those HAZOP.
Yeah, so
this is applicable only where you have some past data or similar cases available, and if it is recorded. Am I right?
Yes, and that is where we are looking for the community to pitch in, where you have a lot of these historical operations data, which could be leveraged into development of these robust systems potentially.
Sir, I want to add to the replies which he has given, and how you are using generative AI these days in similar kind of areas or similar kind of activities is through something called retrieval augmented generation. So what is that? It has got a model which has been trained on all kind of past experiences, all kind of similar experiences. So for example, the HAZOP methodology or data across industries which are there, on that is trained. So that past know-how is there. So it's just consider like a human. A human has going into a new plant or a new process, as you suggest, has got past methodology of similar kind of processes which he or she has experienced. Now, the way a human would try to deal with it, okay, though the AI may not perfectly do so, but the AI tries to emulate the same from the newer data set, and by finding cosine similarity or the or equilibrium distances, like vectorization of the know-how or input or data and comparing with its own knowledge database, and then it tries to generate the way a human tries to generate. And that is why, sir, moving forward now we are trying to say that it will be So AGI, that is augmented, AGI, yes, I'm sorry, artificial, I'm sorry, just forgot. No, no, ma'am. Artificial super intelligence. There are three phases of AI, as we say. Artificial narrow intelligence is what we had till some time back, when there is a very specific set of data. You train models on that data, and you will be able to do really good only on in that aspect. We are moving to slightly towards AGI, that is artificial general intelligence. The way humans are working, the way humans are responding to the problem, that is exactly the way AI will respond to the problem through through models like reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning, what is that? It is like a child being taught right from the childhood. That is how you are teaching the AI model. It's exactly the way humans learn. So that is in place of human, replace it by a model, a machine. That is exactly the way you teach the machine in case of reinforcement learning. So with that, we expect AGI, artificial general intelligence, to come into the machines. And when this expands, then you have artificial super intelligence. So super intelligence is something, where a single super system can decide the fate of the whole humanity. But exactly, we are moving towards that. So it is so fascinating and so interesting, as he also showed that they are doing something like knowledge graphs. So knowledge graphs is one thing, but then this technology, I said, retrieval augmented generation. So if you apply it on knowledge graphs, it becomes KAG, that is knowledge. There is knowledge graph augmented generation. Then apply an autonomous agentic layer over it. So it becomes agentic CAG. So today's world is of agentic RAG. Agentic layer means autonomous agents over retrieval augmented generation, and then autonomous agents over knowledge graph based augmented generation. And knowledge graphs are being extensively used by even by the likes of Honeywell, the research groups, etc. They extensively using to identify semantics or context out of so much of information and data there, and that is obtained purely through mathematics. The whole data getting converted into multi-dimensional, say 1500 1600 dimensional vectors in the vector space, and you find out the closeness between these vectors for all your new problems, and try to answer exactly the way a human learns, exactly the way a human tries to approach the problem, the machine will try to approach. And that is why people are thinking that you can actually cross domains, cross requirements, and enter into it. This is exactly how, sir, you see AlphaFold. They have cracked the protein complex protein structure. That protein synthesis structure was cracked by AlphaFold, and because of that, the CEO of DeepMind, who is now global, he got the Nobel Prize. So that was considered to be a really huge problem for which would require so many years, but that has actually been cracked, actually been solved. So complex proteins and its internal structures are being solved by AlphaFold. So it is absolutely fantabulous and absolutely breathtaking to just think to what extent AI can pervade within our lives, into our life. Thank you.
Yes. Capability. Only thing is, this is a very specialized field. You don't have data for that. So everything is bottling down to you must have data to analyze it. So you don't have any data to start with in the hazard. If it is a completely new process. It is only based on the people who are experienced and who are operating. Because it is a hazard and operability study also. Okay. So that is why probably questions are coming on that.
I totally agree. Absolutely. That is really critical. Yes.
Yes, we will move on to next question, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Myself, Vivek. I came from the Coromandel, working in a senior manager, digitalization automation. So my question to Sumit, sir. So as we see, what are the reinforcement and all those things we are telling that. So what are the models you will prepared? Is it outsourced or internally with your team only prepared this one? And how much accuracies you are getting? Because similarly, we are also working in our organizations. But because of the different changes, whenever we're deploying in the shop floor, we are getting only some 20%, 30%.
So to be very true to you and to the forum, our implementation in our organization of AI has been very limited and very conservative, to be very true. So for that matter, oil and gas industries are actually leading the race rather than power and our sector. There are so many constraints, so many conditions, and for us, and they're definitely there, data governance, data residing across certain boundaries, proprietary data getting used, plants location, plants internal information, and how that gets used later. But nevertheless, you cannot, all concerns apart, you cannot move away or shy away from AI. So what we are doing is we are trying to improve our own AI knowledge. We are trying to access and assess and understand. So for example, in SAP HANA, which we are taking, so HANA, that too on the cloud version we are taking. So almost all models are hosted. They are vendor supplied models. And we have done our own study. We know how to manage the governance and the associated aspects. So that's how very cautiously we are trading further. But if you say whether they are being made internally, yes, some of the critical models, as I said, this tube failure, boiler tube failure, BTL related predictive model, which we prepared, that is based on our pure internal data, internal expertise, human based inputs that has been used to create a model which can help us to a great extent of to an accurate extent, because NTPC has been operating thermal power plants right from 1978, 80s, etc. So we had a huge know-how base that we have done internally. At one point of time, we had to shift from while we are doing with others, we had to shift because we understood that our internal resource, internal know-how may be at risk or may get jeopardized.
And one more thing, sir. So suppose if we are implementing these things, so recently what we are getting after 4 years, 5 years during the journey, so what we are getting from the higher officials, that because of this digitalization, plant team is not getting the touch of they are not going to the fields, or so that sense they are losing it because they are not going to the particular equipment because entire data is coming to there in front of them. So how to defend that one? And suppose if any project implement, suppose we get some 100 lakhs of ROI. So how much ROI we can get from the digitalization point of view? Because finally entire action is taken by the plant team only. So that bifurcation, because to implement any project they will ask the ROI. So how much we will get it?
So sir, I would like to answer this question of yours with with a hint towards this Industry 5.0. If you see Industry 5.0, it is talking about a human and machine amalgamation, human and technology amalgamation, human coexisting with technology. And today morning second session, if you have heard that, it was actually excellent. So the leadership aspect of adjusting, because AI is inevitable, it will definitely come, it will change the job scenario, change the other aspects around it. That is why know-how, understanding AI, how to collaborate with AI, how to coexist with AI, and work with AI to gain, I should say, to complement each other. Human can complement AI, AI can complement human. That we have seen. Just taking one more minute from you, ma'am, really sorry. We can take a very beautiful example. In the year 2016, if you remember, Leo Sedol, he was the 9th Dan Go champion from South Korea. Now Leo Sedol and AlphaGo, the same owner of this DeepMind at that point of time, they had match. So third match, AlphaGo played a move which was called move 37. So it was said 1 in 10,000 move, 1 in 10,000 years can anybody play that move. So the whole game was played behind, the whole game unfolded, whole game of Go unfolded on that single move, which Sedol could not understand. Okay, that is one point, one aspect, and the whole world went crazy. They were absolutely fearful what has happened, and now AI is actually there to be here. So before this, if you consider, the others were not really successful. This is when reinforcement learning started showing its colors. The fourth match, Sedol played a move human. Sidol played because he is ninth Dan. He has practiced it for years together. Right from when he was 5-6 years, he played 12 hours a day without Saturdays and Sundays. He only used to play Go. So there he played move 78, and that was called the move of God. The Go community, they were absolutely startled to see what Lee Sedol played, and that defeated AI. So it was out of 5, it was 4-1, but one match defeated AI. So Sedol told it changed my outlook, the way I look at the world, the way I have been thinking for years together, playing with him, changed the way I look at the world now. So that is the impact which AI can do to humans and humans can do to AI. So it's such a beautiful thing, such a beautiful technology out over there. The way and to understand its intricacies, it is so important. Then only we can use that exceptionally, right? Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Myself Ramoji. I am from Coromandel International Limited. My question is to Sumit, sir. Sir, as you told, your internal team only developing some of the models. So for that models, what are the softwares or platforms your people used? So what about the accuracies? Why? Because we have also made several process analytical use cases through Python only. In Python also, we are already getting test data and trained also data also near about same free accuracy only. Even though we are unable to those data models deploy into online real-time use cases for my plant end users. So I want answer from you this thing.
It's a mixed development. Few in open source software, and few for fewer of the things. We are also leveraging support from similar such solution providers like AWS, GCP, and others. And accuracy, yes, we are getting good accuracy, say 80-85% accuracy to start with, and it all depends on how the model learns, and it's all that feedback, the observability of the model drift, and the learning, continuous learning of the model that matures it and improves the accuracy. So we started with 85% for some of our outcomes, and that was good enough to start with, but slowly and steadily the accuracy has improved. And yes, to answer your question, Python based, open source, along with leveraging the solutions available through platforms like AWS and others. For example, making use of Kiro and Azure's implementation support, that we have tried to implement few things. When it has to be deployed, initial modeling is good. MVP, creating an MVP is something that can also be done, but then deployment requires a lot of testing actually. So that is taken care by our IT team, and I'm from the OT team, so just may not be able to delve and deliberate deep more into that. I'm really sorry for that. Thank you.
No issue, sir. Any process data historian your team is using?
We are making use of Aviva Pi as a process data historian, but we have our own historian in BHEL, and they are the expert people, the engineers, NTPC systems day in and day out. We have our OT historians, which are provided by them. They are system specific, but other than that, we have OSI Pi across our whole fleet, or that Aviva Pi, which actually ingests the data, gets the data from the layer 2 through data diodes or through unidirectional gateways, and we process then further the higher order analytics on the Pi based data. Pi acts as a historian. Aviva Pi,
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Myself Hira Parmar from Reliance. My question to Mr. Jayant. We are also developing in-house solutions like you, and you are also operating many industries like refineries and other. How do you manage with this autonomous operations related to ISA 106, which is a compliance on the other integration with the continuously operating old version system as well as the new version systems of the DCS and the OT?
You're referring to how AI is
No, how you are managing the ISA 106 compliance, like suppose we are monitoring or developing a solution for the furnace trip or a machine trip, and then there are some audit trail needs to be there for enforcing or making my investigations, RCA type of models to give me the complete audit trail. So there are some requirement under the ISA 106 which are coming up. So how do you manage that one?
So a lot of those are more performed at the site level, from what I understand, where a lot of the audit or the documentation that happens is are part of the engineers at site that take.
No,
take
that one is the plant side,
Plant
but
side.
on the system level side, like we have ISA 88 or ISA 95, when we do the new DCS, all the OT systems, we need to comply on that one. So here now the new thing like ISA 106 is demanding for the continuous process industry workflow automation, because we are heading towards the automated workflows.
Yeah, I don't think we are still there yet at an autonomous level.
Okay.
So we are still trying to have the human in the loop. I think what we saw today morning, where it's a combination of human and the AI, and at the current state, yes, it's more human and less of AI initially. That's starting off on specific use cases that I've mentioned as well earlier. So I'm not sure if we have a more AI usage in that space predominantly.
Thank you.
So we take one more last question.
Hello. Myself Vivek Dushi. I am also from Reliance. This question is to Sumit. You have mentioned regarding the AI deployment at DCS level. So can you explain on that use case something?
Sir, this was done in our Telangana power station with the help of EPRI USA. So the feed water controls, improvement in that was done through model predictive controls, wherein artificial neural networks, along with physics-based rule-based systems were implemented. So pre had the exact details are something which we can delve later on. EPRI had undertaken this kind of activities, or has always been had been doing this, and some other power stations in US. So with the help of them and their experts, it was tried to be replicated in our Telangana thermal power station, which BHL has provided us. So it has been a really good success actually, and so that is our feedback on outcome on that. And model predictive controls has been in existence for quite some time, right from 2004-5. The likes of Emerson world over, they have given model predictive controls, right? They were initially based on linear, linear regression, and then they have graduated to more complex AN and fuzzy based libraries. So all of them had, I believe, so they are called advanced process control libraries, which are developed. And I believe APC libraries are a standard offering of almost all new DCS systems these days, and they have this aspect already built in. So it's not generative AI as such in DCS, but obviously neural network based AI definitely there. For example, in case of Rockwell, sir, you have model predictive control modules, separate modules. I mean to say AI modules, hardware modules as such. So some DCS have come with segregated AI hardware modules which can process data, get so many other parameters, find correlation, run a supervised or an unsupervised machine learning model on that, and do a lot many stuff. Right? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much to all the presenters. Thank you so much. We'll just